In 2024, having a smartphone is pretty much a must. These little things play a big role in our daily lives, how we do work, and how we connect with others. But let's be real, the excitement of getting a new smartphone has changed. Back in the day, each new phone was a big deal with cool designs and exciting features. Now with the Mobile World Congress, it feels like maybe the folks making smartphones are running out of cool ideas. Sure, there are new models with better cameras, faster stuff inside, and screens that fold, but does that really get us as pumped as it used to? This makes us wonder, is the smartphone world slowing down on new and exciting things? And if that's happening,
we looked around and we noticed that almost everyone around us had phones, and everyone was complaining about their phones. And we thought, could we build something better?
what does it mean for the future of these devices that we carry around all the time? To figure this out, we'll look back, see what's happening now, and try to guess what might come next for our trusty pocket computers, aka smartphones. Back in 2007, Apple's Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone, and it was a big deal. It was the first phone that mixed regular calls with internet stuff. Basically, the first real smartphone. Jobs pulled it out of his pocket, and that set the standard for how all smartphones would look.
Apple had never done anything this massive before.
Fast forward, and what was once a cool idea is now something everyone has. Phones became super important. We use them for everything like finding our way around, taking fancy photos, and even starting careers on social media. Before smartphones, in 1973, a guy named Marty Cooper made the first call from a handheld wireless device. He didn't imagine that these things would become the mini computers we carry today, but he had a feeling they'd be popular. And guess what? He was right. Now over 4 billion people use smartphones worldwide, and by 2024, it's expected to hit 5 billion. But here's the thing. These days, when Apple launches its new iPhone or Samsung unveils a new Galaxy, they pretty much look the same as the old ones. Sure, the cameras get better, the chips inside get faster, and the battery lasts longer. But the wow factor, like when the first iPhone came out, seems to be missing. It's like we're stuck in a sea of similar-looking smartphones. Take the iPhone as an example. They started out great, but now the design is basically a repeat of the previous 6 years.
We're constantly challenging ourselves to raise the bar, to make it better and even more loved. So let's take a look at the new iPhone.
They basically launch a phone every year with a little bit of design change and the same specs as the previous iPhone. This has been going on since iPhone X, and the iPhone 11 series have followed this same format of 3 cameras up till iPhone 15 now. The smartphone industry says, hey, we've made the cameras awesome, the performance is top-notch, and the battery life is great. What more do you want? But the truth is, people aren't rushing to get the latest phone like they used to. It's not like waking up and thinking, I need that new phone. Nowadays, it's more like if something happens to your old phone, you get a new one. So why is this happening? Well, some say it's because everything got so good. Cameras, performance, and all the boxes we used to check for an upgrade. Others think because phones now last longer and buying a new one is a bit of a rare thing. And then there are these phones with folding screens, a sort of bright spot in the smartphone world. Samsung, Honor, and Oppo have them, and they look cool. But here's the deal. Even though they made a splash when they first came out, they haven't become super popular. Only 1.1% of phones sold in 2023 were foldables, and by 2026, it's expected to be just 2.8%. The big question hanging in the air is what Apple is going to do. Some folks think they had flexible display tech for a long time, but they're not in a rush to make a foldable iPhone because it's a bit risky. When we look at phones today, we wonder, is there anything else companies can do? It feels like we've hit the limit of what's possible with phones, but maybe that's not such a bad thing. Phones have become the central hub for a bunch of different things. Your watch, TV, thermostat, even your doorbell can connect to your phone. In the future, they say this integration will get even bigger. So even though it seems like smartphone makers might be running out of cool ideas, there's still a lot of stuff to figure out. Although you might have heard people saying that smartphones are getting boring, but contrary to this belief, there are actually some pretty exciting developments happening in the world of smartphones that might just reignite your interest. Some are. Number 1. Foldable phones. Imagine a phone that can roll up inside itself. That's what Oppo announced with the X. It feels like a normal phone when folded and has the same good display quality in any mode. Number 2. Edgeless phones. You know those borders around your screen? Some companies have been trying to get rid of them. Apple did it a bit with the iPhone X, and now Android makers are following suit. Number 3. Invisible front cameras. Now there's a cool trick with front cameras. Part of the screen is transparent, so you can't see the camera when the screen is lit up. But when you switch to the camera, that transparent part turns into a lens. This makes the phone look sleek with no visible camera. Number 4. Graphene in batteries. Phones might last longer on one charge or become slimmer. How? They're using something called graphene in battery. It helps you charge your phone faster and keep it cool. In the future, phones might last a whole week on one charge. Number 5. Electrochromic glass. Some phones are getting glass that can change colors. Vivo showed a phone that can change its back panel color with just a command. It's not about different lighting anymore. It's about changing the glass's properties. Number 6. Gaming on smartphones. Playing games on your phone is getting better. Samsung is teaming up with AMD for better graphics. Smartphones are becoming a big deal for game developers because so many people use phones. So the future is exciting to look forward to, and smartphones are far from boring. Right now, the smartphone game is going through some changes. Remember how people used to switch phones often? Well, that's slowing down. In 2023, the number of smartphones sold dropped by a big 18.3% compared to the year before. That's a huge fall, especially during the time when folks usually buy a lot of phones.
iPhone shipments suffered double-digit drop over the holiday quarter, says IDC worldwide smartphone shipments.
And you can't talk about smartphones without wondering what Apple is up to. Some folks think they've had the tech for foldable screens for a while, but they're not jumping into it yet. It's a bit of a gamble for them, and they're not in a hurry to take that risk. So when you look at smartphones today, you might wonder if there's anything new companies can do. The phone kind of hit its peak. Cameras are great, performance is top-notch, and it's a hub for all our other gadgets. But maybe, just maybe, that's okay. Maybe the phone has reached its limit, and now it's more about how it fits into our lives with all the other stuff we connect to it. Okay, so we talked about why phones might not be as thrilling as before, but here's the interesting part. Even if phones aren't changing much on their own, they're becoming the bosses of a whole bunch of other gadgets. Think about it. Your watch, TV, thermostat, and even your doorbell can talk to your phone. It's like your phone is the main hub for all these other things. This team-up is getting even bigger, they say. Right now, about 2/3 of people on Earth have their own mobile phones. For them, the phone is becoming like an extra body part. It's close to being a part of who they are. Some folks even think that in the next generation, people might have phones kind of tucked under their skin, near their ear. That's wild to think about. But there's still a bunch of stuff left for phones to do. Sure, a lot of folks in the US have smartphones, about 74% of them. But in China, it's around 64%. And in India, it's even lower at 46%. In places like India and China, having a smartphone isn't just about having a cool gadget. It's a way to get paid and to do important stuff. So even if phones themselves aren't changing a lot, they're becoming more and more important in connecting everything in our lives. The smartphone story isn't over. The story isn't complete until everyone, no matter where they live, can be a part of it. It's not just about fancy gadgets. It's about making things fair for everyone. That's the next big challenge for smartphones, and we're all watching to see how it unfolds. If you found this video informative, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates on business and tech. We'll keep you in the loop.